Hello learners, this week we will discuss about economic analysis of law, and in this particular video we will have a brief introduction to the concept of economic analysis of law and Professor Coase, one of the early thinkers of introducing an economic approach to law, and his ideas. So, economic analysis of law actually developed as a modification to utilitarianism. The philosophic calculus of the utilitarianism was little difficult to categorize what an individual constitutes as pleasure and pain, of course it is easier to measure an action in terms of economic gains and losses compared to utility. So, that is what is the basic tenet of basic tenet of economic analysis of law. So, they think of individual as a rational maximizer of his satisfactions. Now, money is actually easier to measure compared to utility, right? And now, Richard Posner was one of the one of the leading thinkers of this school of thought. And he reduces the world into world of economic gains and losses. And now, before we discuss Richard Posner's idea of economic analysis of law, let us discuss about two thinkers who were the earlier thinkers on this approach, an economic approach to law. One is Professor Coase, and this Professor Coase talks about law in terms of economic efficiency. And he also talks about an action would be efficient when it cut down the transaction cost. Now, let us explain his concept through an example. For example, imagine there is a factory in the middle of a city, and this factory emits smoke which causes damage to laundry of 5 households within the vicinity of that factory. Now, let us assume that the cost of the damage caused to this laundry is 750 each. Then the total damage that's caused to the laundry of all these 5 households would be rupees 3750. And now there are two things here. One, we have to decide between the right of the citizen to a clean air versus the right of the factory to emit smoke. Now, before deciding these two, first let us see what are the possible solutions in this case. There are two possible solutions. One, the citizens can buy the factory a smoke screen. That way it will reduce the damaging effect that the smoke has on the laundry. So, the cost of the smoke screen we can imagine it to be rupees 1500. The other solution is the factory can buy these citizens a tumble dryer where the citizens can dry their clothes. And let us imagine that the cost of each tumble dryer would be rupees 500. Then the cost of 5 tumble dryers would be 2500, right. So, now we have to compare between the cost of the smoke screen versus the cost of the tumble dryer. So, we cannot actually look at 1500 versus 2500 because we will be forgetting one thing, that is the transaction cost. What Professor Coase says that we shouldn't just adhere to the idea that it is the factory which is causing the problem. In terms of the causation of the problem, he says we should look at the citizens who are living within the vicinity as equal party to this problem. He says had they not been living near the factory, then they wouldn't have faced this problem. So, in terms of causation, he thinks both of them are equally this thing. But some of us might believe that believe in the concept of polluter pays, and we would favor the idea that it is the factory who should compensate to the citizens, right. But this is where the Professor Coase says that we should look at in terms of economic efficiency. Now, going back to our cost of smoke screen versus the cost of tumble dryer, that is 1500 versus 2500, where we have to still add the transaction cost. The transaction cost is nothing but the cost of identifying the parties, a cost of entering into a negotiation, then the cost of enforcing the negotiated results. And in this case, if we apply the transaction cost to our example, the transaction cost that will be involved on the part of citizens would be, the citizens will have to go buy this smoke screen, and they would incur transportation cost and other cost in terms of time and effort, right. So, let us assign a monetary value. If the monetary value of their effort is rupees 600 each, and the total effort of all the 5 citizens would be 3000. Now, the factory being a larger institution, the transaction cost that it incurs would be little less. Let us assume that 1000 rupees. Now, when we have to look at the final total cost that a factory would have to spend in remedying this situation, would be the cost of tumble dryers plus the transaction cost of rupees 1000. Now, here on the other hand, if we look at, if the situation had to be remedied on the part of the citizen, then the cost of the smoke screen plus the transaction cost, which would be on the part of the factory, it would be earlier we have decided 2500, that is the cost of tumble dryers, plus 1000 rupees, which is the transaction cost, that would be 3500. But on the part of the citizens, it would be actually the cost of the smoke screen, which is 1500, plus the 3000, which is the transaction cost, that is 4500. So, now if you look at 4500 versus 3500 here, you would know in terms of economic efficiency, we should go for a foreign solution which would actually result at a lesser cost, that is 3500. So, we can similarly apply Professor Coe's idea to our Indian case, MC Mehta's oleum gas leak case. The cost of having the factory running would definitely outweigh the cost of shutting down the factory, because in terms of giving compensation for the health impediments that it was causing. So, by applying this to an economic analysis of law, shutting down the factory would be the proper decision to make. This is Coe's theorem. Now, in the next video, we will discuss how Professor Calabresi has modified Coe's theorem and has given an approach of justice which includes distribution of entitlements. So, stay with us for the next video.